Aloha, everybody. In this section, we're going to be talking about social engineering, social-based attacks. We're going to start out with phishing. So let's go ahead and open up our textbooks here and start right in. So we're talking in this one about phishing, and we've got all kinds of phishing, and this is really cool. So phishing is a social-based attack in which the attacker phishes for confidential information by sending a fraudulent message to the target. So an attacker using phishing to gain a target's login credentials, social security numbers, banking information, or other confidential information. So email is the most used phishing attack, but there are other methods as well. We've got vishing, which we saw the video that I sent to everybody. The video shows a woman, I think her name was Jessica Clark. She's a social engineering genius, it seems. She was using vicious, which is vishing, which is she's using vicious. Yeah, it was quite vicious, but she was doing voice phishing, essentially voice impersonation. So she was doing vishing. Uh, uh, I guess it's voice solicitation, I think is the proper phrase. So she was calling up a phone company and pretending to be somebody that she wasn't. So that's vishing. Then we have smishing. So smishing sounds like what you do with your fingers and just smish something, but smishing is actually phishing with SMS. SMS, in case you don't know, that's text messages essentially. So yeah, so when you're getting text messages on your phone, that's using usually SMS. So an example they say is a target receives a text message that appears to be from the IRS. The text message states that the target can click on the included link to view the status of the target's tax return, and then the fraudulent link is going to return it's going to collect the target's personal information. So go ahead and click start here. And you see that the attacker is sending a phishing email to a target. The target believes that it's coming from the target from their bank. So they see that, and you've got all these different things we talked about. It looks like it's official, unusual activity. Then click here to log in and view changes. So when the target clicks on the link, a browser is going to open up with a login screen. It's going to look normal to them, so they go ahead and put in their credentials. And once they enter it, it goes boom straight to the bad guy. So, oopsie, we just compromised our username and password. And like I said before, if they want to check and automate the process of checking thousands of sites to see, hey, do they reuse their credentials other places? They can just set it to do that. Go and automatically check all these different sites. And let's say they got into your bank that way or some other site that you didn't mean for them to. So now you're in lots of trouble. So anyway, going into here, the phishing attacks. So you can answer some of these questions. It's not too difficult. I'm going to check here and see if there's anything that you may not be aware of. Yeah, this should be fine. So yeah, everything here. I'm just looking to make sure that there's no network related technology that you need to know about here. And there's not for that. So now we get into specialized phishing, and this is fun stuff. So spear phishing and whaling, these are two different types, and there's a lot more. They go into a lot of detail on other types of attacks in other places, but for here we're going to talk about spear phishing and whaling. So spearfishing, if any of you are into spearfishing, I used to spearfish a long time ago. But spearfishing, you're actually selectively targeting things. You're not just using a net and catching everything you can. You're actively looking at one specific target there or one type of target. So in a general phishing attack, an attacker is going to send out a phishing message to random targets, whoever they have an email for, or just trying everything out there. So alternatively, an attacker may use background information to direct an attack at a specific group or even a specific person by email. So spear phishing is when you're going for a specific group or individual. An attacker is going to send like a text message to Netflix customers and say, hey, we saw you have a new device there that you're logged into. We need to, have you install some whatever on, we need to, have you click here or something, and then that'll end up with them installing some malware on their devices. Then there's the whaling, and whaling, you think of, whales are big, so these are the big targets. So big target's going to be like the C-suite people. C-suite is what we call the executives. So a CIO, a CEO, somebody important in a company. So you'll often have to do a little bit of research to do a whaling attack because you need to, if you're going for a high value individual like the CEO, you're going to need to have information that really makes it seem legitimate for them. So in this one, it talks about attacker poses Microsoft support and emails a company's president a password update request. The email includes a link to a fraudulent password update page that steals the company president's Microsoft credentials. And I saw some things at DEF CON this year that was pretty terrifying because you can actually use, or there was a security researcher that had used Microsoft's federated sign-in page for 8 different types of fraudulent attacks. So it was, yeah, it was pretty scary. So anyway, here spear phishing and whaling can be used for financial gain. There's a specific type of spear phishing here. There's business email compromise, BEC. That's an attack where an attacker is going to impersonate a trusted individual to trick a company's employees into making fraudulent financial transactions. This is kind of difficult because most people in a company or like at the state or in a company or something like that don't have the power to release funds or pay money. So usually you're looking at a specific person there that has the ability to, and then you have to trick them to think that you are coming from an actual customer that they do business with. If you're asking for large amounts of money, that may actually get increased scrutiny. So these are going to be kind of hard to do. But their example here is an attacker poses a supplier and emails a company accountant an invoice with a request to wire the funds to them. And if they're not careful, they can end up wiring that money to a place that is not where they think it is. So here we have examples of spear phishing and whaling. See, click on it. In this spear phishing attack, an attacker uses a list of GitHub employee email addresses to send employees a fraudulent virus scan link. So then the next one is going to be in this whaling attack. An attacker sends an email to a CEO with a fraudulent Zoom link. The attacker has researched the CEO's meeting schedule to make the email seem credible. So when you look at this, it says today's 10 a.m. meeting will now be at the following link. So if I got something like that and it seemed to be from the right people, and I didn't really look and check a lot of these things, and I didn't hover over the Zoom link and everything, I could make a really big mistake very easily just by trusting that it's from this person because everything looks official. And I would click on that. And yeah, you see it displayed as this, but I can actually, you can have it display one thing and then actually go to a different address. So keep that in mind. So down here, we get into spear phishing and whaling. So we're going to look at the different types here. Select the term to describe each phishing attack. So yeah, these aren't too hard. You can do those on your own. And we have a good explanation at the bottom here of disinformation versus misinformation. So misinformation is essentially false or misleading information that is spread without a deliberate intention to do harm. So misinformation is like me saying, like, oh yeah, I don't know, Trump was the third president of the United States. That's misinformation. That's bad information. He obviously wasn't the third president. Disinformation is me saying something like the COVID virus isn't effective, or the COVID virus, or not the COVID virus, the COVID vaccine isn't effective. I could do things, I could say things that intentionally that they're intended to mislead people for a certain outcome. So if I wanted to sow distrust in something, I could send out disinformation. And you'll find that a lot of countries like Russia, China, North Korea, a lot of these countries will go out there and do disinformation campaigns. They'll set up Twitter accounts. They'll set up all kinds of things that are going to go out there and make controversial statements and try to seed a lot of, let's say, non-harmonious thoughts amongst the U.S. populace. And this has happened. It happened a lot in previous years where Russian bots would go out there and start making things into culture war issues that nobody really realized that it was all coming from the Russians. And they fomented a lot of unrest amongst us using disinformation like that. So you have to be careful of that. It says here disinformation is used in phishing attacks and malvertising. An attack that convinces a target to click on a malicious advertisement, which can lead to the infection of the target device with malware or redirection to malicious sites. So that's it for our section here on social engineering, social-based attacks. Again, this to me is really fascinating stuff, because I've gotten emails that are phishing emails, and I always look at them to see what the commonalities are between them, and what are they trying to get me to do here. I've gotten text messages through smishing. I haven't gotten any phishing. Well, I have gotten phishing, yes. I've had people that have called me up, usually from India, that are telling me that my system seems to be virus infected and they can help me get the virus off of there. They did not know who I was, so I had fun with that. But yeah, so these are, to me, this social engineering is really fascinating, and it's something that you can really relate to because everyone gets emails and has probably had experiences with some of this stuff before. So anyway, as always, I want you to go through this. If there are things that you don't understand, if there's technical things like DNS and stuff like that that you don't understand, and you just want to ask me, absolutely feel free to reach out to me and ask, and I can. If my explanations aren't good, I can go out and find other websites that are more, or not websites, but maybe YouTube videos that are more descriptive that can help you out with that. So feel free to ask. I'm happy to fill you in on that. So anyways, have yourself a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Aloha.